everybody. Hello YouTube. How we doing? Thought I'd start documenting on here just because it'd be a lot more enjoyable. I think it would just be a lot more enjoyable from like creating content that's actually useful and valuable and enjoyable. I think I'm still going to do the Instagram stuff, but you just find very confined with that. I just find them very confined because like you've a set window in which you can get your point across. Otherwise, it's just going to get lost in the weeds of every other piece of content. And also, Instagram is just full of AI slop. So I'm just like, I'm still going to do it, but I'd rather put a bit more attention to this because on here I can kind of just be myself and yap a little bit, and it's an opportunity for you guys to, I guess, get to know me. If you want, you don't have to. That sounds very arrogant, but yeah, just an opportunity for me to, I suppose, get my message across, get my personality across, document what I'm doing day to day, or in this case, maybe once or twice a week. And yeah, maybe I'll do something a bit interesting every now and again. Probably the most interesting thing that's going on right now for me is I am 6 weeks out from my first powerlifting competition. I know, right? Fucking cool. So last couple of years have been the years of running. Although I've been full-time running, it's more hybrid training. That is my jam. It's hybrid training. But yeah, I suppose I spent a lot of time like balancing the lifting while also pursuing running goals. So it's like marathons, half marathons. Finished my most recent marathon last year in September. Wasn't too bad. Could have been better, but it's still 4 hours, 28 minutes. It's pretty sweet with that. But now I've kind of flipped the switch a little bit and we're looking at some lifting goals. So we're going to hit my first powerlifting competition now. That is on early July, 6 weeks from now, more or less. And that is in the Marina Market in Cork for the Summer Open, the IPF Summer Open. I'll be competing in the under 93 weight category. I don't think I'm going to win it. I've seen some of the shit guys in that weight class are putting up, but I think I'll do pretty well. I think in terms of placing, I'll do relatively okay, especially for my first competition. It's pretty strong for a first timer, but I just want to hit some personal PBs. I've got some numbers in my head. I won't say them just yet. I'll see how training's going. But yeah, I've got some goals, got some targets I want to hit when I get there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm enjoying the training, just flipping the switch a little bit where I'm prioritizing. I'm doing a shitload of lifting, a lot of volume, and I'm just doing just enough cardio just to stop the engine from going completely rust. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been a nice change up. It's definitely tough. It's definitely different from what I usually do. Different style of lifting as well. But it's been fun, you know. Been enjoying it. I'll actually be taking you guys along to my training session today, which will be well later. I'm currently working through a bunch of PT sessions today. So I had 2 already this morning. I have 1 more that I'm heading to now, which is at this individual's house. I'm pretty jealous of their home gym. Just coming from one as well. These people, I'm so jealous of their home gyms. They're unbelievable. But later on today, I'll be taking you guys through a training session, maybe giving some value, giving some information on what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and how you can apply it to your own training. And yeah, it'll be fun. But yeah, that's kind of the main goal of this, is to, I suppose, document in a more longer format, which I think is just a bit more enjoyable for most people. So just drop some value, you know, drop some knowledge where I can. I think that's probably the main thing, is just documentation, getting to know me, and providing value. So yeah, let's do it. Let's head out, shall we? Cheeky sip of Monster. Honestly, I don't get sick of Monster.
Right. So we are here, finally training. Little squat bench deadlift session. Currently in preparation for my competition, and it's the reason why we have squat bench deadlift all together. To get me used to the actual feeling of doing all 3 of these lifts at once. And we've got a cheeky little top set here of 200. Hopefully it's not too difficult. Little tip for you guys with your squats, just to improve them going forward, is one thing I see is people tend to bend at the hips or bend at the knees separately. They'll do one or the other first. Little tip, when you're squatting, think about bending at the hips and the knees at the same time. It'll be a much more balanced, much stronger squat in the long term. So I think without further ado, let's do this. Easy work. Come on, nonsense. Be easy. Come on. Fucking coach watching me now as well, so I can't fuck this up. Was that? Not too bad. Alright, so that was smooth as butter. So that's part one of this workout, almost part one of this workout done successfully. Got some back offs left to do, which I'll probably go for around the, I don't know, I'll check back on my sheets, around 170 to 180, I think, roughly around there. For like sets 4, but those are boring. We're not going to watch those. I will see you guys during the bench press. So it is bench time, and the one lovely thing, one thing I really love about bench is the fact that I can be warmed up to my top set in like 5 minutes. I think I did a set with the red plate, 70, 100, 110, and now I'm here to 115. And in 115 now, it is for 1 rep, for a single, same as a squat. I'm thinking 115 because it's 2.5 kilos heavier than last week. I'm just trying to do this sort of a linear sort of progression each week. Same as the squat, I went up 5 kilos, went from 195 to 200, and for the deadlift, I'm going up to hopefully 230, which will again be about 5 kilos above last week's top set. And I'm going for that sort of linear progression right now, because each week, what's been prescribed for me is just an increase in RPE each week. So with RPE being a rate of perceived exertion, it's basically a scale from 1 to 10 of how hard you feel something is. And today we're at an RPE 6. Last week was an RPE 5. So naturally with each week, I'm just trying to take somewhat of an increase each week, just to stay within that RPE range, more or less. Again, you're not like going to hit it dead on accurate all the time, but you can use it as like a gauge of what to aim for. And the real goal with this sort of linear progression where I'm going up in an RPE scale each week is simply just to build momentum leading up to my competition. So like at the start of this block, I was at an RPE 4. So the weight was right down, it was very easy. And now we're slowly building intensity without maxing out. So we're building momentum up to those higher intensities as we lead in towards like basically a peak week and then the competition. So it's an interesting way to train. Generally, I'm just sort of straight sets, high intensity, more hypertrophy focused lifting, but this is very sort of skill based, purely strength, efficiency as well. And yeah, it's interesting, it's good. But anyway, I've rested long enough, so let's hit this, see how it goes. Oh yeah. That was not too bad. I felt, and you can actually feel this when you start benching heavier or any of those like main powerlifting movements. On the heavier side, you can always feel those slight little misgrooves, and I felt like I brought that bar down just a little bit low on my chest, but it moved fine, so I'm not gonna fucking worry about it. I'm just gonna drive on and do my back ups. But yeah, that's bench. Tip for you guys when you're benching is aim to place the bar along the base of your palm. So like sort of a slight diagonal line. So along this base here where the bar is stacked directly over your wrist, a lot of people have the bar going straight across the middle of their palm, and that puts a lot of strain on the wrist joint itself, and you won't be as stable. You won't be able to push as hard into the bar. So think along the base of your palm, the bar should be traveling kind of like a diagonal angle. It's called a bulldog grip, but it makes a massive difference, even just towards your technique. Your arms will naturally travel in a much better path as well, I find. So yeah, tip of the day on bench.
We are back in the car all of a sudden. You're like, what the fuck happened? I thought I was going to see some deadlifts. And hello. Fucking scooters, bro. Yeah, the plan was to do the whole clip of deadlifts. I did a whole commentary, but my shitty Amazon mic could not handle the sound of the speakers blaring Drake tunes than the sounds of other metal plates hitting the ground. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the deadlift on the screen. Should be somewhere there. It moved okay. It's a bit slow off the ground, but overall the effort was pretty low. The start of the ground I felt was a little bit grindy, but the overall set went fine. It was a solid 230 kilos. So that was the plan. Like I said, with the linear progression from the week, I just added 5 kilos up to 230 and moved fine. And I'm confident we can jump it up another chunk next week. On that, actually, I'm just going to explain RPE with a little bit more detail, because I think I didn't explain it too well in the clip when I was benching. Just kind of rambling, like at the end of my bench set. I was a bit tired from the bench set, and I was kind of just rambling. I wasn't very clear. But RPE, because it's a useful thing to know. RPE stands for rate of perceived exertion. So in simpler terms, it basically means how hard a set feels. And it's a scale of 1 to 10 generally. So like an RPE 1 out of 10 is basically like I didn't even feel it. Like it's basically you did nothing, basically. Something effortless. And then an RPE 10 being your absolute max effort. Now, it doesn't mean that you do a 1 rep max. It just means that whatever you did, whether it's 10 reps, 5 reps, 20 reps, 1 rep, whether you can even apply it to running in terms of like intensity of the run, the speed, the effort level. It's just an effort level. An RP 10 is basically your absolute max effort. Could not have done more, even if you tried. And it's a useful tool because then when you have RPE scales, it can allow you to sort of regulate your training. So as opposed to being given strict weights to hit in a session, which has its place, having an RPE scale allows you to sort of stay within a recoverable intensity with each session so that you don't overshoot or undershoot. So for instance, I came in today now with the idea of going for 230 at an RPE 6, but by the time I got up to my warm-up of 200 and it wasn't feeling very good, then I might have been smarter to pull back to 220 to keep it at an RPE 6, to keep it within the desired intensity. And the other side of it, if I was feeling fucking brilliant that day, then maybe I could have pushed to a 240 or 235, you know? So it can work both ways, and it's a nice way to have a bit of freedom with your training and to, you know, you can hit some PBs out of nowhere when you're following an RPE scale as opposed to strict weights. So I like following intensity scales. There's also RIR, which basically means reps in reserve, and that is simply, you know, when you finish a set, it's how many reps at a guess do you think you could have done. So an RIR of 2 means when I finished that set, I could have done roughly 2 more reps. So it's a pretty intense set. That would be similar to like an RPE 8 or, you know, roughly an 8, for instance. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that makes intensity scales and sort of intensity ratings make a bit more sense to you. And hopefully you can use it, because I imagine people hear it often, and I know I've had a few people who I work with and I help, and they'll ask me, what does that mean? Or like they've heard it in the gym, or maybe I'll talk about it in a session, they're not sure what it means. That's what it means. It's just a self-perceived rate of intensity, and it's a very useful tool. So, you know, use it, guys. Use it as your training. Hopefully it helps. Hopefully it makes your training that little bit better. But yeah, I think that's going to be the end of the video. I actually had a lot of fun making this. Well, recording it anyway, so I have to edit it. So maybe that might be a lot less fun. But yeah, if there's anything anyone else wants to see or think would be, you know, nice to learn, if there's any topic you want me to talk about that you want to learn about, let it be lifting, hybrid training, sort of fundamentals of nutrition, whatnot, anything to do with fitness. If you want to know more about it, leave it in the comments or DM me on my socials. Yeah, whatever. If I can help with it, and if I feel like I know enough on the topic, I'll make a video about it. But yeah, guys, this is fun. I think that's it anyway. So I'm gonna awkwardly try and figure out how to stop rambling and just say goodbye. So yeah, goodbye. I'll see you in the next one.